that was held on March 11th of this year. This is an ordinance to amend the comprehensive zoning map of Sussex County from an AR1 agricultural residential district to an MR medium density residential district for a 7.882 acre portion of a parcel lying on the southeast side of Lewis Georgetown Highway, which is Route 9. And County Council may remember that action on the application was deferred for further consideration.
Okay. Mr. Moore?
Thank you, Mr. President. An ordinance to amend the comprehensive zoning map of Sussex County from an AR1 agricultural residential district to an MR medium density residential district for a 7.882 acre portion of a certain parcel of land lying and being in Lewis and Rehoboth Hundred, Sussex County, containing 433.071 acres as recently surveyed, or 419.64 acres as scaled and shown on the Sussex County tax map, more or less, for the reasons given by planning and zoning numbered 1 through 9.
Okay. Pleasure of council.
Move to adopt.
Move.
Motion,
Yes.
Ms. Gruenebaum. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Lloyd. Okay. Are there any amendments?
This is a change of zone.
This is just change of zone?
Yes.
Okay. How many questions? And we'll take the vote. Ms. Gruenebaum.
I wish to make a statement prior to my vote.
Please do.
I want to use this occasion to go on the record with specific concerns that pertain to this development and many others. First, the applications upon which we vote today comprise a relatively small part of a large development. The largest part of Northstar development has been favorably reviewed and approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. That part, the 758 residential single-family homes of Northstar, did not and will not come before County Council. I appreciate the hard work done by Planning and Zoning on Northstar and the many, many other applications, but I believe that decisions on subdivisions of this magnitude should rest with elected officials. Second, this subdivision, and indeed most subdivisions, are built on land zoned AR1, which gives the property owner the right to build 2 houses per acre. Not only does this tie the hands of county officials who might want to restrict development in some areas covered by that zoning designation, it also encourages sprawl and undermines a more diverse housing base. A few weeks ago, County Council established a land use reform working group, which we expect to bring us ideas about ways to provide developers with the reliability and consistency they need, while also giving the county the appropriate tools to guide development in a way that ensures the safety, health, and well-being of our residents, supports our agricultural businesses, and promotes a resilient and sustainable coastal community. I look forward to their recommendations. Third, I'm troubled by the ongoing lag between building a development and the completion of the necessary road improvements. In this case, the larger development and the section we are considering today abut 2 already heavily trafficked roads, Route 9 and Beaver Dam Road, and will abut the extension of Mulberry Knoll Road. While the state has plans to improve both existing roads, our experience suggests that the road improvements will significantly lag the build-out of the housing units. Creating the best mechanisms to ensure greater concurrency between development and infrastructure is a high priority for me. Again, I hope the working group will have recommendations for us regarding this concern. Finally, I want to call out and underscore several important conditions proposed by Planning and Zoning for the affordable housing section of Northstar, upon which we're voting today. Condition B requires compliance with an officially recognized federal, state, or county affordable housing program and yearly reporting demonstrating ongoing compliance. This condition helps ensure that the rental units continue to serve our working families. Condition C requires that all off-site improvements required by DelDOT will be completed prior to or simultaneous with the project reaching substantial completion. This is a condition that addresses the issue of concurrency I raised a minute ago. Condition J requires recreational and service amenities, including a clubhouse, fitness center, bike storage lockers, playground, and play area. This condition ensures that the residents of these units enjoy amenities common to newer developments. Condition G mandates complying with the existing, or exceeding Sussex County street design standards and installing sidewalks that connect with a multimodal path required by DelDOT. Workforce housing is most beneficial when safe, accessible, multimodal paths provide viable transportation options. Condition Q, I will read this in its entirety. Because this multifamily rental project was linked with the subdivision 2023, and the projects have both been expedited and considered simultaneously as a result, and because of the importance of providing affordable housing for Sussex County residents, construction of the project shall be substantially complete and receive its certificate of occupancy from Sussex County prior to the issuance of a notice to proceed for Phase 2 of the subdivision. The county should support methods such as expediting projects for encouraging more workforce housing while remaining always keenly attentive to the trade-offs involved. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm ready to vote.
Okay. Is there any other?
Was she called on to vote at that point, too?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yes.
At this point, we'll take the vote.
Yes.
Go to Ms. Gruenebaum.
Yes.
For the reasons given by
sorry.
planning and zoning and the hearing.
It's a lot.
For the reasons given by planning and zoning and in the hearing, yes.
Thank you. Mr. McCarron.
Yes, based upon the testimony heard during the hearing and the reasons given by planning and zoning.
Mr. Lloyd.
Based on the testimony given at the public hearing, recommendation by P&Z, and the fact that we need workforce housing so people can live where they work and work where they live, I vote yes.
Mr. Riley.
Let me say, first of all, that, I agree with the sentiments and comments made by Councilwoman Gruenebaum. I'll say that right. And, I think, we're taking a more thoughtful approach to some of these larger developments, and the topic, the concept of concurrency is obviously increasingly important, as we've learned from our experience. And so, well said. I will vote yes based on the logic reasonings given by planning and zoning.
And I want to say to Ms. Gruenebaum, that was obviously put a lot of hard work and effort into this, and it should be applauded. But I agree with planning and zoning, and I vote yes. Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our next item is conditional use number 2499, also filed on behalf of Northstar Property LLC. This is an ordinance to grant a conditional use of land in an MR medium-density residential district to allow for multi-family dwelling units, 94 units, to be located on the same parcel of land located on the southeast side of Lewis Georgetown Highway. County Council may remember this from the public hearing that was held on March 11th of this year, and at the conclusion of the public hearing, action on the application was deferred for further consideration.
Okay. Ms. Gruenebaum?
I need to read the short title
Oh, I'm sorry.
first. Thank you, Mr. President. An ordinance grant a conditional use of land in an MR medium-density residential district, excuse me, to allow for multifamily dwellings, 94 units, to be located on 7.882 acre portion of a certain parcel of land lying and being in Lewis Rehoboth 100, Sussex County, containing 433.071 acres as recently surveyed, or 419.64 acres as scaled and shown on the Sussex County tax map, more or less, for reasons given by planning and zoning numbered 1 through 15, with conditions 16A through R.
Okay. Ms. Gruenebaum.
Move for adoption. Thank you.
Motion, Ms. Gruenebaum.
Second.
Second, Mr. Riley. Questions on the vote or on the motion? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Ms. Gruenebaum.
I'm going to vote yes based on the reasons presented by planning and zoning, the public hearing, and in particular the conditions, as I noted in my earlier statement. I will vote yes.
Thank you. Mr. McCarron.
I hope the headlines accurately reflect what we are voting on today. And I think there has been an importance identified in these projects. And I really think the placement is correct versus placing people 30 to 40 minutes away from work centers. For the conditions, or based upon testimony heard during the public hearing and the recommendation of planning and zoning, I vote yes.
Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah, I just want to echo that in lieu of an approval of the change of zone or the MR higher density, the alternative is more expensive single-family homes that our citizens can't afford anyway. And so for those reasons, and for the testimony at the public hearing and recommendation by planning and zoning, I vote yes.
Mr. Riley.
In consideration of the comments made previously, and I will vote yes based on the recommendation of planning and zoning.
I also vote yes based on the reasons given by planning and zoning. Motion carried.
Thank you. Our third item of old business is change of zone number 2012, filed on behalf of Rudder Road, LLC. This is an ordinance to amend the comprehensive zoning map of Sussex County from an AR1 agricultural residential district to an MR medium-density residential district for parcels of land lying on the east side of Banks Road, which is Sussex County Rep 298. And County Council may remember this from the public hearing that was held at Council's meeting on March 25th of this year, after which action on the application was deferred for further consideration. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. An ordinance to amend the comprehensive zoning map of Sussex County from an AR1 agricultural residential district to an MR medium-density residential district for certain parcels of land lying and being in Indian River 100, Sussex County, containing 30.57 acres, more or less,
Okay.
for the reasons given by planning and zoning numbered 1 through 6.
Thank you. Ms. Gruenebaum.
I have amendment, this is where I,
No, that would be the next one
next one, move to,
for adoption.
for adoption, move for adoption.
Motion, Ms. Gruenebaum.
Second.
Second, Mr. Riley. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Ms. Gruenebaum.
I have amendments to propose, is this the, no?
No, that would be on the conditional use, which would be
Okay,
next.
no
This is the change of zone only.
Sorry, okay, got it, yes.
Okay, based on,
I don't want the statement now.
You could do that if
I
you
can-
desire.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize, I have a statement.
no worries, that's fine.
Good.
That's all good. The conditions that I will propose today for the conditional use of the Rudder Road development are intended to minimize to the fullest extent possible the environmental damage caused by this development. I believe that the conditions we are placing on this development, we will be placing on this development, will limit and hopefully eliminate more sedimentation in Guinea Creek and the likelihood of flooding during construction. We intend to monitor this closely and to impose appropriate penalties for failure to meet the conditions we are setting. But let me be very clear. The best outcome for the environment would be to let the forest regrow. Extensive development throughout eastern Sussex County has destroyed thousands of acres of forested land and wetlands. For too long, we have treated land as valuable only to the extent it is to be built on or actively used for agriculture. We must start to recognize the value of land left in its natural state. Undisturbed land, healthy wetlands, and marshes are essential to the well-being, providing recreation and vital ecosystem services like water filtration, flood protection, and carbon storage. This development will sit on Guinea Creek. Guinea Creek joins Hopkins Prong and Burton's Prong in feeding into Herring Creek, which flows into Rehoboth Bay. So every bit of runoff from the asphalt rooftops or lawn treatments along these waters will run into the bay. According to the most recent State of the Bays report from the Center for the Inland Bays, inputs of nitrogen from non-point sources continue to far exceed healthy limits in all three bays, with no improving trend. Nitrogen concentrations in the Indian River and Guinea Creek are particularly high. This project was presented to us as logical infill, in effect, dismissing any value of the land left undisturbed. I do not dispute the logic of infill in some areas. However, in this case, the infill is anything but called for or useful. It will add traffic to an already overcrowded, narrow, winding two-lane road. There is no public transportation to ease the added congestion. There are no bike paths or safe walkways outside of the various developments. The infill will only add to the congestion, adds to the likelihood of flooding, adds to the pollution of the bay. As these comments make clear, I am greatly troubled by this proposed development and have struggled with the options available to me. Because this project is proposed to be built on land zoned AR1, the property owner has the right to build 2 houses per acre. So if we deny this conditional use application, the developer can return with a new application for single-family units. In that case, the application will not come before County Council, and we will have no ability to pursue any protections for the environment. Therefore, I have chosen to move forward by adding conditions, which we'll address in a minute, that address some of my concerns.
Okay.
Did you call for a vote and she asked for
I'm
it?
going to do that now and make
Yes.
sure there's nothing else. Okay. All right, at this point in time, we'll take the vote.
So this is not where we do the conditions. What this is a vote for?
This is just on the change of zone. We
Change of zone.
can't
Okay,
add.
yes. I vote yes. For the conditions, no, just I vote
No,
yes.
vote for the change of zone based
Zoning.
upon the reasons.
Given by
Planning and zoning.
planning and zoning. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McCarron.
I think it's important to just remember this is a change of zone, but the state and the county for decades have, identified this area as a growth area. And also, the current work being performed by the working group in areas such as these that the county and the state agree for growth, increased density was recommended and has been, not recommended, but has been certainly discussed. Based upon testimony heard during the public hearing and the recommendation of planning and zoning, I vote yes.
Mr. Lloyd.
Both for the aforementioned reasons by Mr. McCarron, as well as the testimony at the hearing and the recommendation by planning and zoning, I vote yes.
Mr. Riley.
I agree with the sentiments that Councilwoman Gruenebaum mentioned. I am very troubled by the multiple instances of silt and topsoil runoff into the creeks in that general area over the last couple of years. And I think some of the conditions that will be offered may set a new standard, I hope, for how developments that are proposed next to bodies of water will be handled going forward. I'll point out that we have not been overly onerous. I believe that there are additional remedies that can be imposed if we find that these remedies are not sufficient, but I'm willing to accept the incremental approach that we're taking and fully agree with the comments that she had presented earlier. So for the reasons given by planning and zoning, I will vote yes.
Okay, I vote yes based on the reasons given by planning and zoning. Motion carried. White House.
Thank you. Our last item of old business is conditional use number 2449, also filed on behalf of Rudder Road LLC. County Council may also remember this from the public hearing that was held on March 25th of this year. This is an ordinance to grant a conditional use of land in an agricultural residential district for multi-family dwelling units, 160 units, on the same parcel of land as the previous item, and County Council may recall that action on the application was deferred for further consideration. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. An ordinance to grant a conditional use of land in an AR1 agricultural residential district for multifamily dwellings, 116 units, to be located on a certain parcel of land lying and being in Indian River 100, Sussex County, containing 30.57 acres, more or less, for the reasons given by planning and zoning numbered 1 through 10. With conditions 11A through S, and it is my understanding that there's possible 3 amendments to this.
Yes. Yes, I would like to propose amendments. I'll read them individually.
Yes,
Yes.
do the first one for F first.
Yes. I move that we amend condition F of the recommendation of the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission to add the following additional language at the end of the commission's existing condition F by adding new paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. I will now read those. Further, due to the proximity of this property to Guinea Creek, the following additional requirements for stormwater protection shall be strictly enforced. 1, an enhanced sediment and erosion control plan shall be prepared by the developer's engineer and submitted for review and approval by the Sussex Conservation District and the Sussex County Engineering Department, applying superior stormwater outfall protection as well as sediment trap sizing and placement above and beyond the Delaware Erosion and Sediment Control Handbook requirements. 2, a sequence of construction optimizing erosion and sediment controls by limiting the various stages of earth disturbance to no more than 10 acres shall be prepared, developer's engineer, and submitted for review and approval by the Sussex Conservation District and Sussex County Engineering Department. Disturbance of subsequent 10-acre sections may not proceed until permanent stabilization of the previous section is accomplished and approved by the Sussex Conservation District. 3, the developer shall acquire the services of a third-party certified construction reviewer to perform weekly construction review reports of the approved erosion and sediment control plan elements and the installation of stormwater management systems until the development is complete and all bounding to the Sussex Conservation District and Sussex County for the development is released. Any non-compliant portion of the work, as noted in the weekly report, shall be corrected by the developer within the time period specified in said report. Any delay beyond such specified period in correcting non-compliant work shall result in restrictions upon the issuance of new building permits as well as certificates of occupancy within the development until the non-compliant work is corrected.
Okay, no, we would vote just on the amendment.
Need a,
correct?
yes, a second, and then vote on
Yes,
that.
okay.
Yes.
That's a motion.
Yeah, I move to it.
A second.
Okay, motion for the amendment, Ms. Gruenebaum, second, Mr. Riley. The questions? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. This is just on the amendment, Ms. Gruenebaum.
Yes.
Mr. McCarron.
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd.
Yes.
Mr. Riley.
Now, to emphasize that these recommendations offered the, I think, you know, we spend a lot of money on mitigating the water quality in the inland bays. The University of Delaware is preparing to spend a lot of money on investing in oyster beds. We've been requested to spend up to $1 million on that as well. And so to me, the notion that, you know, we're going to work hard and spend a lot of money to clean up the inland bays with oyster beds and other measures, only to have that defeated by silt running into the water and killing those oysters, seems to be something we need to take action on. So I vote yes.
I also vote yes, motion carried.
I have an additional amendment to condition J.
Okay.
I move that we amend condition J of the recommendation of the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission to add the following additional language at the end of the commission's existing condition J. I think there's a typo there. By adding new subparagraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll read them. In addition, the developer shall provide protection of the resource buffer by creating a 20-foot wide protective area outside of the resource buffer B as averaged and shown on the preliminary site plan to be known as the resource buffer protection area, which shall be subject to the following requirements. 1, the area, including all wooded vegetation within the additional resource buffer protection areas, shall remain undisturbed except for uses permitted in resource buffer B by section 115-19 of the Sussex County Code.
Excuse me, that'd be 193, correct?
Okay, 113.
193.
113, I'm sorry, I misread it. 115-193.
Yes.
The community walking trail and the turnaround associated with the community dock currently shown in the resource buffer B on the preliminary site plan shall be moved outside of resource buffer B and into the resource buffer protection area. 3, construction fence shall be installed along the outer edge of the additional resource buffer protection area prior to the Sussex County Department of Engineering issue of a notice to proceed for the development maintained during construction and only removed as part of the closeout process in accordance with section 99-31 of the Sussex County Code. 4, during the phase of construction adjacent to the additional resource buffer protection area, an additional super silt fence shall be installed 5 feet land side of the additional buffer protection area. Said super silt fence shall be maintained throughout the entirety of the construction except for temporary access during the installation of the community walking trail and the turnaround associated with the community dock, and shall only be permanently removed as part of the closeout process in accordance with section 99-31 of the Sussex County Code.
Thank you. Motion, Ms. Gruenebaum.
I move adoption of the amendments.
Second, Mr. Riley. Any questions? And we'll take the vote. Ms. Gruenebaum.
Yes.
Mr. McCarron.
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd.
Yes.
Mr. Riley.
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carried.
Next, I believe there's a series of short amendments.
Yes.
I believe these are more housekeeping,
Yes.
if I understand this correctly. This is on
Correct.
advice of counsel. These are motion to amend condition A, N, Q, and R. Do I read them all together?
You could
Yes.
read them all together because they're fairly simple and all relate to the same.
Yeah, they're just corrections. I move that we amend condition A by striking the last sentence. All of these units shall be condominium units. This approval does not constitute a subdivision creating any individual lots. I move that we amend condition N by adding property owners association after the word condominium. I move that we amend condition Q by adding property owners association after the word condominium. I move that we amend condition R by adding property owners association after the word condominium.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Gruenebaum.
Second.
Second, Mr. Riley. Any questions on this? And then we'll take the vote on this. Ms. Gruenebaum.
Yes.
Mr. McCarron.
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd.
Yes.
Mr. Riley.
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carried. And now,
I will read the short title
Yes,
again at this
please.
point. Thank you, Mr. President. An ordinance to grant a conditional use of land in an AR1 agricultural residential district for multifamily dwellings, 116 units, to be located on a certain parcel of land lying and being in Indian River 100, Sussex County, containing 30.57 acres, more or less, for the reasons given by planning and zoning numbered 1 through 10, with conditions 11A through S as amended by this council.
okay, pleasure of council.
I vote yes, based on the reasoning given.
You need to make the motion
Let's move for
first.
adoption.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Ms. Gruenebaum. Second, Mr. Riley. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Ms. Gruenebaum.
Based on the reasoning given by planning and zoning in the hearings and in consideration of the amendments we have just passed, I vote yes.
It would be appropriate also, since you'd read a statement before the change of zone, which contain references to the conditions, you might want to incorporate that statement as well in your vote as a reason.
As I do. And in reference to the statement I read.
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd. I'm sorry, Mr. McCarron.
Based upon the testimony heard during the public hearing and the recommendation of planning and zoning and Ms. Greenbaum's proposed amendments, I vote yes.
Mr. Lloyd.
Okay, so the 2018 Comprehensive Land Use Plan notes, quote, "A range of housing types should be permitted in coastal areas, including single-family homes, townhomes, and multifamily units, and that appropriate mixed-use development should be allowed. This parcel is surrounded by GR and commercial zoned, as well as MR high-density parcels, and in keeping with the good principles of land use and allowing people to live where they work and work where they live, based on the testimony given at the hearing and the recommendation by planning and zoning, I vote yes, along with the amendments."
Mr. Riley.
Excuse me, that was not on the amendment. That was on the ordinance as amended.
On the ordinance as amended.
Yes.
Mr. Riley.
I also vote yes. We've had a lot of comments that I agree with, and so in consideration of the testimony and the comments made and the recommendation of planning and zoning, I vote yes.
I also agree with.
As amended.
I'm sorry, I also agree with planning and zoning, and I'll vote yes as amended. Motion carried.